Hello, welcome to our Pachacutra about visual impairments and blindness. This presentation was created by Bella Zarowski and Allison Rickey for LAI 574.
Understanding visual impairments and blindness is important because worldwide 285 million people have visual impairments and about 39 million are blind. There is certainly a chance you will encounter a student with VI or blindness in your teaching.
Idea 04 defines a student as having a visual disability when he or she suffers academically due to this impairment, even when medical correction is provided. The severity of the visual disability is determined by how much usable residual vision a student has. Unless a student is fully blind, he or she should have some residual vision and may be able to see things like color, shapes, and light.
Visual impairments can be discussed in 4 ways: reason for vision loss, severity of the impairment, when vision loss occurred, and whether or not the individual is legally blind. There are 2 categories of visual disability: impairment and blindness. People with visual impairment still have some residual vision, but not enough to function without extensive supports. People who are blind cannot see anything, even light.
Sometimes visual disabilities are congenital and exist from birth. Other times they are adventitious or develop later in life. This has important educational implications as visual memory is an important learning factor, and students with congenital visual disabilities lack it.
Some conditions that lead to vision loss or disability are myopia or nearsightedness, hyperopia or farsightedness, astigmatism, which is an inability to focus one's vision, or a number of congenital, disease-related, or environmental factors. Early intervention is key when dealing with visual impairments. It is estimated that nearly 80% of impairments could be prevented by medical intervention or correction.
In schools, students with visual disabilities tend to do very well in regular education classrooms. Of those students who receive special education services for their disability, 64% spend at least 80% of the school day in an inclusion classroom, usually with the support of a co-teacher or paraprofessional. It is vital that educators provide access to the general education curriculum for students with visual impairments.
Access to the curriculum can be difficult for students with visual impairments in a number of ways. One academic struggle for students with visual impairments is literacy. Supports and interventions to help with literacy include enlarged type, braille, or recorded text. Idea 04 mandates that every student with visual loss be considered for instruction in the use of braille.
Other challenges for students with visual impairments include charts and graphs, particularly in the STEM areas. These often contain vital information but are not always made accessible to students with visual impairments. Techniques to support students with this challenge include verbal descriptions of images, screen readers, and tactile graphs.
Another type of assistive technology that has been shown to benefit students with visual impairments are tablet devices such as iPad apps that focus on presenting information through audio. Research has shown these to be effective in supporting the math performance of students with visual impairments. It has also been shown to increase their motivation.
Other curriculum targets for students with visual impairments go beyond academic content. 2 main focus areas include orientation and mobility, which involve how well an individual knows and is able to navigate their surroundings. Ideally, an individual with visual impairment will be provided with supports such as a braille map.
Orientation involves being aware of the layout of your surroundings. Educators should ensure that students with visual impairments know their way around their schools and have specific plans for all emergency procedures, such as fire drills or evacuations. Mobility is how well an individual moves around their environment.
Mobility supports for individuals with visual impairments may include the Hoover cane or service animals, such as guide dogs. Although they may seem common, only about 2% of people with visual impairments use guide dogs. If you have one in your classroom, be sure to emphasize to students that it is a working dog and should not be pet.
In addition to serving as effective in academic supports, technologies can be used to enhance orientation and mobility supports. GPS, or Global Positioning Systems, technologies, has been shown to help the use of long canes and in some cases the use of guide dogs.
Another area of support for students with visual impairments includes social skills. Because students with visual impairments cannot see many aspects of social interactions, such as facial expressions and body language, it must be explicitly taught to them. Interventions that teach these strategies and how to self-manage these strategies are critical to the academic and career success of students with visual impairments.
It is crucial to understand the emotions of individuals with visual impairments, as well as the impact that visual impairments can have on their emotional well-being. Some effects of living with a visual impairment include loneliness, feeling like you don't fit in, and not being able to participate fully in activities that you would like to.
A 2017 study by Jessup, Bundy, Broom, and Hancock found that while most students with visual impairments actually felt included in their schools, some still felt lonely and excluded. This group was largely comprised of students who also had an additional disability with their visual impairment.
Two main challenges for students with visual impairments are that they cannot participate fully in all class activities and that activities tend to take longer. This speaks to the importance of teachers being aware and planning lessons so that students with visual impairments have as much access to the curriculum and activities as possible, as well as much time to complete them as is necessary.
Sometimes, students with visual impairments will be hesitant to utilize assistive technology if they feel it makes them stand out or feel like it creates a social barrier. Students with visual impairments tend to feel most excited about practices and activities that emphasize similarities and connections with their sighted peers.
Participation in extracurricular activities such as clubs or sports is beneficial for students with visual impairments, as it provides ample opportunities to develop their identity and to interact with their peers. They also provide opportunities for students to gain respect from and have reciprocal interactions with their peers.
All in all, there are many things educators should do to support students with visual impairments. Students should be provided with resources like Braille, assistive technology, and large print text when applicable. We should also be aware of the emotional challenges of having a VI. We want to leave you with one question. What do you think is the most compelling thing we discussed in our PK, and why is it important for the education of students with VI?